Not long ago, Ryan Rollins was a player nobody even noticed. He got 0 minutes most nights and averaged just a single point whenever he even got an opportunity to go on the court. He had no hype, no spotlight, nothing at all, but this season, everything changed for him. Rollins transformed his game into a playmaking guard now, putting up over 16 points a game, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. From the bottom of the rotation to now a key contributor for Milwaukee, he's suddenly a player the NBA can't ignore and an up-and-coming superstar. But most importantly, the story of Ryan Rollins didn't start in the NBA just like every other player. It started at a school where most fans barely pay attention, the University of Toledo. Toledo isn't exactly a basketball powerhouse, and they aren't on national TV every single week. They don't churn out lottery picks like Duke. Dominating there doesn't always get the same attention as if he's just shining at a bigger school. But Rollins was different right from the start. He had one skill that stood out the most than most basketball players. He could score, not just by running fast or dunking on defenders. He's able to create his own shot, and that's always been a key factor in his career. Step backs, mid-range, pull-ups, crafty finishes around the rim. He made it look effortless in college, and he was just genuinely such a good player, which is why I'm kind of surprised he didn't wind up even going in the first round. By his sophomore year, he was averaging over 18 points a game, and he was the best player on the floor. But even with all that talent, scouts had questions. Could he do it against bigger, faster defenders? Could his game translate to the NBA? That doubt caused him to slip all the way down the draft boards. When the 2022 NBA draft came around though, he had to wait a lot longer than expected. Eventually, the Atlanta Hawks picked him with the 44th overall pick, but almost immediately, he was traded to the Golden State Warriors, so already starting off his career, he's on the move. On paper, it looked like the perfect situation for him, at least from his point of view. The Warriors had a reputation of just developing overlooked players. Look at Jordan Poole, an under-the-radar pick who became a star contributor, is making over like $40 million a year right now. But the reality was tougher than expected, and Golden State was stacked with veterans, and at the time they were chasing to go win another ring, which left little room for the second-round rookie to shine. Like many second-round picks, Rollins spent his early years just trying to stay in the league, and the minutes were very inconsistent. The opportunities were just not there for him. A few minutes here, a few minutes there, never enough to show his full potential. And then he wound up landing with the Washington Wizards. Another chance, another small role, and at this point, most people probably assumed Ryan Rollins would just be another player that we would meme about in a couple years. That's the story of dozen players drafted in the second round. Talent doesn't always equal opportunities, and for him, luckily it came. Then this season happened when Rollins joined the Milwaukee Bucks on a 3-year, $12 million deal, and the expectations were low. Again, they never really expected him to come on the floor and be a starting guard and turn into what he did turn in today. Depth guard at most, probably. Someone who wants to see minutes sporadically as Rollins. But as the season unfolded, something clicked and Rollins just started getting more and more playing time due to injuries, and his performance and every time he stepped on the floor, he looked so comfortable controlling Milwaukee's offense. Even on defense, he's a pretty solid 3-and-D guard. He plays confident, and that's what you want in an NBA player, especially if he's a young player that's barely played like Ryan. He's been playing like he just belongs in the NBA. For the first time in his career, he wasn't just out there surviving, he was thriving. He is thriving against NBA pros. He has one of the nicest attacks off the dribble, and like I mentioned earlier, he can create shots with no problem. His handles are just so immaculate. I am glazing so hard, but Ryan Rollins is genuinely going to be such a superstar in this league. Slowly but surely, people started to notice him. What really set Rollins apart in Milwaukee is how he actually embraces the role. When he first went into Milwaukee, again, he wasn't expected to be a superstar, and when he finally got his minutes, he definitely embraced that. Instead of trying to force plays like guys like Killian Hayes that just couldn't overcome their turnovers or shooting percentages, he focused on doing the little things right, which he learned how to read the defense correctly, which he probably already knew throughout his entire career. He can pass the ball like no other player. He is an elite playmaker 100% already. He can make those smart passes. He started to fill the gap the Bucks needed, scoring off the bench to start the season off, making plays in transition, and just defending with energy night after night. He was becoming a reliable contributor for Milwaukee, no longer the player who just vanished in limited minutes. He was now someone the coaching staff could trust in key situations. Rollins' scoring ability, which he always has had, has been his calling card, and it just began to flourish this season. He finally gets the chance to do it, and he goes out and shows everyone. He isn't just taking open shots, he's creating opportunities and just reading the mismatches, pushing defenses, just what a key NBA player needs to learn actually how to do. Mid-range pull-up, step backs off the dribble, finishes around the rim. Everything he mastered in college is finally translating in the NBA, and on top of that, he's not afraid to rebound either. He goes up there and grabs the ball, makes the passes, and he can even defend the bigger guards like a 6'6 guard with a 6'10 wingspan. That's not a problem for Ryan. His all-around game just started to shine, and the Bucks had a versatile guard who could impact multiple areas of the court. One of the biggest things that changed for Rollins in Milwaukee was confidence. Early in his career, limited minutes and just inconsistent opportunities. I would assume he's always on edge, as pretty much anyone watching this video would be too if you were in the NBA not getting as many minutes as you want and you need to go prove yourself. Now he's just able to play so freely, which is why his game is developing. He understands his strengths and he actually trusts his instincts, which again is pretty important for an NBA player. That confidence is very contagious to his teammates, and the teammates see him stepping up, and the coaches. Milwaukee definitely needs a new head coach, I will tell you that, but we'll leave that for a different video maybe. It's no longer a question of whether he belongs in the league. He's proving that he could be a superstar within the next few years. Even now, he is a rising star. Another key factor in rise of development for Ryan, the Bucks coaching staff worked with him to refine his footwork, which was something that was not great in his early career. Slowly but surely, he became a player who could 100% run the offense with no problem at all and take pressure off the stars on the floor, and now he's turning into one himself. And the numbers back it up. Like I mentioned, 16 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds from a guy who was just averaging 1 point not even a year and a half ago. That's just phenomenal. He is no longer a role player, I can guarantee you that. He's a playmaker, a scorer, and a valuable piece. Even if he leaves Milwaukee, which he's on a 3-year deal, wherever he goes, he is a star guard. No questions asked. If you just listen to Rollins' story and how his careers actually went the last 3 years, this is a reminder of how quickly things can actually change in the NBA, because one season you could be struggling for minutes, just trying to get out on the court. Next you're a rising star, turning people's heads, and just showing the league what you could finally do with minutes. His journey also highlights the importance of opportunity. Sometimes it's not just talent that determines success, it's timing, trust, and just the right environment, and Milwaukee gave him that chance, and I'm so glad Rollins did not waste it. Now the question is, how far can he go if he can continue improving his decision making, keep scoring efficiently, and just making such amazing passes? Ryan is just such a good playmaker. He could even become the cornerstone for Milwaukee if Giannis does decide to leave at some point, maybe even more than that. Because the NBA isn't just about lottery picks and hyped rookies. Some of the most compelling stories are just from players around the league that didn't even get drafted. And right now, Ryan Rollins is living the story of a second-round pick from 0 minutes at one point to becoming an all-around guard in Milwaukee. And he's an NBA star that 100% none of you saw coming, neither did I.